Tiffany the form more cover Better News channel. So you best also subscribe to Better News channel. Over subscribe, no one like it, no one share, no one turn on notification bell. No sabe ya update BI and sabe to me. Now make I was a comment section once you order. Message so believe you comment. What do I doing change in I be good on? Na medjumedi akoso one. Now make I say, and there was a protest against this government and yoma ekoso ne inflation eko high. Emma with that protest no police for kwacheche omo ano mo ye protest omo ano mo ye demonstration ano mo ye demonstration harmful demonstration but demonstration they are trying to enlighten the government, the president, that how ne amania omo fa mu say netie na with sa comments where omo ye no aban no hu say the demonstrators no trenching aban no man o use police ebe escort and as ebe fa omo mpanyimfo mu du omo anim tete omo kɔhyem ama ade ache na ade ache ensembebre na ekoso mpanyimfo omo type protest ye chi say aban no hwe ye ni a oye no ho sa o infringe the right of people na protest no there is going to be a second one not even a soldier, not even whoever the security agent is can withstand them, and this time around that they are coming with weapons. By any way, na ensemble brain na opinion to that the person will become on your cocotti and someone chum, and the bad there could be I become on me.
Palgrave Boachi Dankwa from the JB Dankwa lineage, well represented within the annals of Ghana's democracy here. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Roland.
And then also celebrated Kwame Nkrumah extensively on Nkrumah Day yesterday. And his father, of course, was also a commissioner, I believe, in the Nkrumah government. Was he?
Minister.
Was a minister.
Of Agriculture.
Point of correction. And if you look at the development plan of Kwame Nkrumah, you know that it was comprehensive. And the son of lawyer Jantua is here, and lawyer Kwame Jantua. Good morning to you as well.
Good morning.
And then we also have another legal practitioner also currently does the negotiations or heads the committee that's supposed to negotiate all sorts of concerns when they erupt within the NDC. Legal practitioner or lawyer Abraham Amaleba is also joining us. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, and whose father was an ordinary Ghanaian.
Okay, so
and,
the son of an ordinary Ghanaian out-and lawyer.
Yes, I am depressed this morning.
Yeah, because you are in black.
Depressed because my profession is under attack. The police yesterday beat up lawyers who were there at the demonstration to do their work. That for me is a federal law. We have never seen this before, where lawyers have been called to come and do their work, and police pounce on them, beat them, arrest them. It's yet another law for the Akufo Addo administration.
Well, also we'll be joined by a man who was part of those key demonstrators alongside his friend, who is now the president. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo will be joining us right here on the show today. And then also Asasante. Dr. Asasante is with the Political Science Department. But let's give you a wrap-up of all that transpired at the demonstration as put together by our own Eric Mawina Egbeta.
And in about the last 10 minutes, officers of the Ghana Police Service in buses and patrol vehicles and the likes swooped in on the leadership of Democracy Hub and some individuals who had gathered here at the 37 Trotro station in anticipation of proceeding with their planned picketing at the Jubilee House, rounding all of them up into buses and headed towards the Accra Regional Police Command Headquarters. Upon arrival at the regional headquarters, police began separating the arrested protesters across 9 police stations in the capital. Some needed assistance, while other protesters outside the headquarters began massing to push for their colleagues' release.
My colleagues in there knows what they are doing. They knows that today they will be arrested. All right. But since they have been arrested, as I'm talking to you now, I am replacing them. If I am being taken right now, somebody is taking me. So by the time you realize they will arrest all Ghanaians. So they should try and then increase their number of cells.
That demand turned chaotic when lawyers and a mother of one of those arrested attempted entering the regional police command premises.
They were just beating some of our lawyers, taking them inside. Okay, and then the media were all covering. So everybody around was taking his phone to cover. And by the time I saw, somebody just slapped me and just took my phone.
The policeman charged at us. His crime was just to stand next to me, charged at us and pulled us. So I kept his phone. I don't know I was just told that his name is George. He's also in there, so George is also in there. And then they took him inside, and whilst the police were attacking them, they ripped my dress.
Former PNC chair Bernard Mona, in the company of some legal practitioners, were finally allowed entry with the assurance the protesters would be released.
We are disappointed that citizens' right to demonstrate has been curtailed by the police. But we are working feverishly with our lawyers. You can see Justice Srem, you can see Nusaf Husseini, and a host of them. They are going to distribute themselves into the various police stations to see how they will be able to secure the release of our comrades and compatriots who decided to embark on the people's exercise.
After hours and hours of a long wait by many of these demonstrators who came here to show solidarity, it appears the over 30-plus demonstrators who were picked up this morning by the Ghana Police Service may not be able to return home. That's because from indications, the police says they will arraign them tomorrow where their legal representatives can apply for bail. Eric Mawena Egbeta, TV3 News, Accra Regional Police Headquarters.
Now, speaking for government security, it also means that a directive was given from the entity. Why is that the directive was given from the Jubilee House for the demonstrators to be treated that way? Palgrave.
Roland, a very good morning to you and to your viewers, and a very good morning to my constituents, the people of Ibuakwa North, and to my colleagues on the table.
Good morning.
It's important to state that when anyone wants to demonstrate lawfully, there are public acts and legal mandates that gives you those opportunities to be able to demonstrate. We are aware that in this country, the rule of law is very firm and strong, that if persons want to demonstrate, you need to go through the Ghana Police Service and make sure that you seek clearance, and the police service would also give you the routes that you would use to ensure that you don't cause public nuisance. The demonstration yesterday and the picketing at the Jubilee House, which is the seat of government and a security installation, is one of paramount interest and should be for every well-meaning Ghanaian. We are aware that the gathering was unlawful and was a violation of Public Order Act, for which reason the police did not give them the necessary permission to demonstrate and even picket at the Jubilee House. I've read the police statement that has come out. I'm sure that you have seen that as well, and in the course of the deliberations you might want to bring it out to the general public for them to understand and appreciate that the police, as our security force and internal mechanisms of ensuring law and order and peace and serenity in the country, has always allowed lawful demonstration. We do not want to overstretch the issue for persons that have been caught in an unlawful demonstration without the requisite approvals. There were no instructions to arrest people from the Jubilee House. It's important to state that the Ghana Police Service is a state-owned institution with an Inspector General of Police who direct affairs within the security services. We would observe the day as it unfolds to be sure that those that were caught in an unlawful demonstration go through the rigors of the law to ensure that peace and serenity would prevail.
At the end of the day, Mr. Maliba, the police say they are acting on the Public Order Act. If there is an injunction or there is an order from the court, is that not what the police need to act on, instead of saying that they are acting on a law in itself, when there had been processes and then admission of you being notified, etc., as far as the demonstrations are related?
Let me say good morning to your viewers. I have to take a deep breath before I can compose myself. Now, it is important to state that the gathering at the 37 Lorry Station was...
Please move the table mic in front of you, and then your book should be in front. Okay, very good, very good. Thank you, sir.
The gathering at the 37 station was not unlawful. The Public Order Act is clear. You need to give 5 days to the police for them to prepare to, as it were, give you protection. The police doesn't give people permission to demonstrate. The right to demonstrate is enshrined in the Constitution. In fact, the Constitution actually guarantees it. So it exists already. Now, if you have difficulties with the police in choosing the routes, the police will now resort to court, as they did. And what did they do? They filed an injunction application. Granted that the application was served on the demonstrators or their lawyers, that in itself is not an order from the court. So the police cannot be enforcing merely filing an application. What the police can do is to force an order of the court. Was there an order of the court? The answer is no. There was no order from the court saying that the demonstrators should not congregate anywhere. So it is false and a fallacy to say that the gathering was unlawful. Says who? Which court declared it unlawful? These are the questions and I want my colleague to answer. Says who? There was no such order. But you see, the police, under this current administration, is becoming a bastard institution and a rogue institution. The police, under this administration. See, in some jurisdictions, civilized governments, where if we were under a civilized government, heads would have ruled this morning. This morning, either people will be interdicted, or they themselves will resign, or some of them will be put before court this morning for attacking unarmed, innocent Ghanaians who were out there to do what the Constitution permits them to do. Today, I'm being told that some of the demonstrators will be sent to court. Those who are supposed to be in court this morning are the policemen who attacked innocent Ghanaians, who attacked lawyers, and not the demonstrators who were simply out there to do what the Constitution allows them to do. You see, if the police knew that they could stop this demonstration anyway, if they knew they could stop this demonstration anyway, why did they head to court? Why did they head to court? Now, if you go to court, what it means is that you have submitted the dispute to court, and the court must settle that dispute. And so you don't go to court, then you turn around and use brute force as if we are in the colonial period. This police force, for me, and I'm saying force because they are not a service. They are supposed to be a service, but they are behaving like the colonial police force. What's the difference between this police force and the police force that shot unarmed veterans who were going to see the governor? What's the difference? Even in this one, the people didn't take a step. They didn't even move for you to say that they are demonstrating. They said they wanted to go and occupy the Flagstaff House. You said Flagstaff House is a security zone. Now, did they get to the Flagstaff House? No. They were still at their congregation point. Why do you then attack them? Why do you then arrest them? And why do you subject them to such humiliation? But it is becoming clear that under this administration, and this administration that rode on the back of demonstrations to come to power, this government rode on the back of demonstrations to come to power. Since when did the Flagstaff House become a no-go area for demonstrators? In this country, Pelgrim, his cousin, Akufo Addo, held a demonstration at the Flagstaff House.
The Occupy Flagstaff House demonstration.
And went and sat there, engaged in a bourgeois demonstration. Some were holding their iPads. Who attacked them? Who attacked them at that time? This administration is beginning to erode the benefits that we have chalked under this constitution. We are beginning to see a paranoid government who, when they hear demonstration, use all machinations to suppress the people. But you see, a people cannot be suppressed for long. And it was Nkrumah who said, Ghanaians are slow in reacting. But when they do strike, there's no stopping them. This police force, and I've deliberately not called them service, they are a police force, because they are still imbued in their colonial mentality and do not want to, as it were, engage in democratic policing. There's what is called democratic policing. If people are going to occupy the Flagstaff House, why can't you occupy the Flagstaff House with them?
Meaning what?
Wherever they are going to congregate at the Flagstaff House, in front of the Flagstaff House, you go as policemen and also occupy the place with them. You go and occupy the place with them. It is their right. No space is a no-go area for any Ghanaian here. No space is a no-go area. Whilst we were here trying to demonstrate, Ghanaians were demonstrating in the US against the president at the conference, at the UN conference. So it is now safe for Ghanaians to even demonstrate outside their home country than in their country. Is that what I've been told? And who arrested them when they were demonstrating there? This government and its police force. And I'm told that yesterday, a senior police officer called to say that most of those who were sent to engage in those dastardly acts, that despicable act, were the boys they recruited from their vigilante group. Most of them came from them. those hoodlums, those boys who cannot read and write, those who have to go and complain and take their salary. Those are the boys they sent there. I am waiting to hear the useless Ghana Bar Association, whether they will comment on this matter.
You are a member of the Ghana Bar Association.
And I'm calling them useless. And if this were a criticism of the judiciary, the bar would have jumped in by now and issue statements. Lawyers have been attacked. Journalists have been beaten.
Including international ones.
BBC, I'm told the BBC journalist was beaten up.
Even though the police issued a statement, but you know, he's our friend, so we know.
And you have the Ghana Bar Association still in their slumber, sleeping, and will not comment. And you say, I shouldn't call them useless. I'll call them useless because they have derogated from what the Ghana Bar Association used to be. That used to protect the voiceless like me and you. You're the journalist who was beaten and all others. I am waiting to see if, because today lawyers have been attacked, they would respond or they would issue a statement. A number of statements have been issued. I've not seen the Ghana Bar Association statement, and I'm worried about that. And I think that this government might be told in plain language that they cannot continue suppressing the people. And I want to commend Vomawo for his activities. Today, I've heard people condemning him. But if we didn't have somebody like Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, today, you and me would not be enjoying the freedoms we're enjoying, which are being curtailed. I'll commend Vomawo and say that we need people like him. Because in a tyrannical government such as this, you don't need any formula to ensure that you bring your voice to be heard by the government. And this government is becoming a tyrannical government under a democracy.
Now, let's get an insight of the president when he was in opposition, as an astute politician during the Kumi Preko demonstration. Then I'll come back to ask, why the difference in posture in him being the president of our republic for rights that he fought for all along while in opposition?
The policies that the government has been implementing are policies that do not find favor with the general mass of our people, and that the mass of the people of this country have been systematically impoverished during the period of Rawlings's rule. It is not a point of view that has found very much favor in the parts of the world from where you come from, who have been pouring out an endless stream of how so many things wonderful were going on.
Well, so, Lajanto, what do you make of this seeming posture? It looks like he's a totally different man. You know, the picture that was painted to us, especially prior to 2016.
Good morning. Good morning to our viewers. I would like to start with the Public Order Act, if I may. And, Roland, I hope you give me a short while to also bring up a quite important thing that is happening, you know, as we go along in the program. Let me go to the Public Order Act. Section Part 1, Section 1, Article 1. It says, any person who desires to hold any special event within the meaning of this act in any public place, and this is the operative word, shall notify the police of his intention not less than 5 days before the date of the special event. It says notify.
Yes.
It doesn't say request.
And approve.
And approve. It says notify. So the police, so far as demonstrators want to demonstrate, they have to notify. Did they notify the police? Yes. August was when that notification came in. Let me continue. The notification, and this is clause 3, I jumped to. The notification shall be submitted to a police officer not below the rank of assistant superintendent of police or other police officer responsible for the nearest police station to the location of the proposed special event. He said, not below the rank of the superintendent. Were instructions given to the police under this rank to do what they did? Were those instructions given? It goes on to say, where a police officer notified of a special event under subsection 1 has reasonable grounds to believe that the special event, if held, may lead to violence or endanger public defense, public order, public safety, public health, or the running of essential services, or violate the rights and freedom of other persons, he may request the organizers to postpone the special event to any other date or to relocate the special event.
Yeah.
The things that they've mentioned there, did it happen? Was it violating the rights, the freedom of other persons, public order, public safety? Was anything like that happening? It then goes on to tell us, where the organization refuses to comply with the request under subsection 4 or fail to notify the police officer in accordance with subsection 5, the police officer may apply to any judge or a chairman of a tribunal for an order to prohibit the holding of the special event on the proposed date or at the proposed location. Did they have the right to do what they did? Did they have the right to do what they did? And I asked the question, where's Dampare? Where's Dampare? He is the Inspector General of Police. And we see Dampare rush to areas where there are challenges and there are problems. Where is he today?
Was there a problem in the first place? There was no problem.
There was no problem, but for his officers to do what he did, we would expect that this morning he would have made a statement. We would expect that this morning he will suspend those officers. You talk about the president in terms of what? The demonstration. The president today is a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, unfortunately. He's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Two faces. He used demonstrations to proffer his agenda. Didn't he? Haven't we seen it? He's now in power and everybody's scared of him. Why? Why? What is it about President Akufo Addo that people are scared of and people can't talk about? Are you trying to tell me that the MPP are happy with this? Have you heard any of them comment? And when my brother Palgrave was commenting, what did he say? What did he say? Did he even acknowledge that his political party does not agree to what happened? Did he acknowledge it? Because what? It benefits them? Look, Ghanaians are slow to anger. They have a right. These people who you say were demonstrating and doing all sorts of things, the Constitution gives them a right to a lawyer. It's their fundamental human right. Were they given that? Look at the way they were manhandled. Even at the gates of the Central Police Station, look at the way they were manhandled. It's not a force, it's not a police force. And Amaliwa, police force, inverted commas, begin and close. We are not a police force. We are a service. We are there to serve the people. We have to be sympathetic. When you see, as a policeman, you see people demonstrating and destroying, yes, you have the power and the right to arrest them. But when they haven't even taken a step to start, you're arresting them. For what reason? Where is your locus? Who pays them? No be taxpayers' money. These people that they arrested, no be taxpayers' money. And you take them in, and they were going to hold them. Yes, they have the right to hold them for 48 hours. But I think international pressure got them to release some of them last night. Look, the way this country is going, the way this country is going, it is terrible and awful if we don't do anything about it. Can you imagine this happening in 2024? Is there a possibility that it can happen? There's a possibility.
Are we in danger?
Because there is an agenda. Why is it happening in Nana Addo's time? Why? Why is such happening in Nana Addo's time? Paragraph should tell me. Why? The vice president even hasn't said anything. We haven't heard any high person in government say anything about it. If the shoe on the other foot like Kumi Preku, all of them will be lining up to talk. Why are they quiet? Isn't this Ghana? Aren't those young people Ghanaians? And you don't hear from the ruling party saying nothing about it. They are quiet about it. And you have one of their commentators here, and he says nothing to assuage the fact that they are not in favor of what happened.
Look, but you see, the police abuses the rights of Ghanaians. It gives rise to another right, which is the right to have a lawyer. They call in a lawyer.
They
then you
weren't
attack
giving
the
that
lawyer.
rights. They ain't giving that.
So even lawyers' rights are being abused.
Yes. Richard Roxton, one of the lawyers, was attacked.
Richard Roxton,
because he was intervening, saying that a media person was going to be attacked. He told the police, this is a media person. This is not one of the protesters. They bundled him, attacked him, and put him inside. Why? What kind of country is this? What kind of Akufo Addo country is this? And Akufo Addo must be told in place. Look, I know that when presidents are going for their last term, they begin to soften because they will go out of power and then they will need people around them. This president is rather toughening up.
Okay, so we'll be joined by Dr. Sassant. In the meantime, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, one of the lead individuals and, of course, friends to the president, who undertook that Kumi Preku demonstration. He's joining us on the line. Good morning to you, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo.
Good morning.
As you went to your event the whole of yesterday, and having observed all the events over the last couple of months and years under this administration, what comes to mind based on your concerns and the warnings that you would want to give regarding the atmosphere currently? Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo.
Before I come to your question, I would like to say a word or two. I'm saddened this morning. I'm very much sad. I thought under the present police leadership, there would be civility. Unfortunately, no. It's unfortunate. Do we have a new IGP? If we don't, where is the present IGP? The commander of the Ghana police, I will not call service. It ceased to be service yesterday. It's now a police force. And when the force is facing young people, there are two things that happen. That force is defeated or the young people die. Now, if the present commander of the Ghana police force is still in his position, I ask him to resign honorably, to save his image. The black shirts of Italy disappointed Benito Mussolini. The Gestapo of Germany now equally disappointed Adolf Hitler. The conduct of the policemen yesterday, under the watch of the President Akufo Addo, is shameful and barbaric. Unwarranted brutality against innocent, peaceful protesters is an unreasonable scar on the conscience of the job and the chairman of the council or the police council, who is supposed to be Dr. Bawumia. I have said time and again that if Bawumia can think independently, he can be a good leader. But he can't, unfortunately. I doubt that GP knows about all these happenings. But he knows. Well, we haven't heard of his resignation. The police is degrading its own status and image. They must know that. If they fail to see that, then they are the policemen of the ancient times, where when we used to call them Akraya Gentle, all they know is to be ordered, and then they do. And as such, they were never given boots or shoes to wear, because they chased people brutally. It is unfortunate that our democracy is gradually being turned into a police state. Starving Ghanaian citizens. You look at what is happening in the country. Starving Ghanaian citizens and beating them up mercilessly for shouting just, "We are hungry and unhappy." It's completely unacceptable. Where did the Ghanaian go wrong? Then you tell me. It's peaceful protest, not a crime in Ghana. We have done it before. And I'll come to that later. That was the main question you asked. How does brutality against innocent citizens bring food to their families? As for my party, as one former head of national security told me, it pains him that all we do when there is a problem is to be defensive. And that is true. All we know is to defend. Look at the gentleman with you there among the speakers.
Who?
I said, we've seen this before. And it will happen again. In our days, now let me come to your question now. In our days, under a apartheid military regime, under Flight Lieutenant Ronald, the following people, listen to me carefully. Nana Akufo Addo, Dr. Charles Brobe, Kweku Poku, Victor Newman, may he rest in peace, Kwesi Pratt, Kweku Baako has now disappeared. And I always get surprised because Kweku Baako, as I know or I knew, should have been trumpeting in favor of democracy by now. But he's quiet. He only knows why he's quiet. Kakraba Conwell, lawyer Akuto Ampa, has also disappeared from the scene. So these are the people, including myself, Nyahu Kama. We had a very cordial when we decided to demonstrate Kume Preko in 1995. We approached, we went through the normal procedure, and then we had an invitation from the police command at Greater Accra. We had a very cordial discussion. I've forgotten the name of the commander. I think it's passed on. Discussion with the commander. And they gathered the Kumipeko demo. It was peaceful until some demonstrators took a wrong route. Apparently that has been organized by the then so-called killers of the PNDs. And that led to the death of about 4 or more people. Very unfortunate that. Other than that, the police just let them I was at the head of the march. Ask Akufo Addo today, where was he when the police opened fire? I was at the head of the march. I have a picture to show that. Where was he? He was in the belly of the march. You should come to deny what I'm saying. Because some of these things are so annoying. Now, after the demonstrations in Accra, all protests, we had other protests across the country in almost all the various, what do you call it, regional capital, without an incident. Now, in the next protest, listen to me carefully. In the next protest, some of us are senior citizens. Whether we were once soldiers, policemen, and what do you call them? Even there are lawyers who are thinking in this country, who have left the bar, who have left practice. Elderly men in the society will come together with our children to protect them and our grandchildren. Let them kill all of us. Now, equally unfortunate and sad is the silence of the notable traditional and religious leaders in this country. And I challenge them to come and say what I'm saying is wrong. Such as Bishop Palmer Buckles. What is Palmer Buckles? When I was in Sawan years ago, myself and James Mensa and what do you call IC Queen and Judge Judge Minula, Captain Tofimo, Captain I, may all these people rest in peace. Palmer Boko was then a reverend father. He comes here to pray for us. Where is he today? He should come out and pray for this nation so that this nonsense will stop. Now, where is your topic? They are thinking of making money and use the Bible to cheat the people in this country. We know them. Where is Dr. William? And the rest of them. We are getting wiser each day. And they should watch it. Now the Christian Council, my own moderator, where is he? When he was inaugurated, the first statement he made was that he is in to protect or pray for the ruling government. This is what came out of his mouth. A moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, which I am a member, and a very senior member. You should come up. So you are not sympathetic to
Dr. Tamaklo.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish. I'm so much charged this morning. Let me finish what I'm saying. I don't want you to interrupt my talks at all.
Yes, please.
But I say, the Christian Council as a whole, as well as the chief imam, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Sharabutu, a very good friend of mine. Where is he? They should come out and talk. This is the time to talk. And I ask President Kufuor to come out wherever he's hiding to come and talk. Because this country is now heading towards destruction. This country is heading towards destruction. If you don't say it, I will be very much surprised. I'm done.
So my last question, as you're done, are you worried for the next election, looking at the tense atmosphere, the division along political lines, regional lines, etc.? And what should be done?
We have two options. It has happened before. I was then in detention. I remember once again, J.H. Mensa, may he rest in peace. And I see Kwe was there as well. And the other military officers, I mentioned their name. And they rest in peace. When General Kutu Achampo organized a so-called referendum to justify his stay in power,
He hasn't said anything.
And those of you who don't know how Akufo Addo became brigade commander, you should go and talk to an experienced military officer and he will tell you.
It's okay.
Not that we know. Now, Akufo Addo, when the results were being read or being announced at the present grounds where we have Kwame Nkrumah Jubilee House, Kwame Nkrumah Park or whatever you call it now.
Very, very careful.
When he realized he was losing the election, he got in touch with the electoral commissioner, who was judged by name, I forgot the name. He became the chief justice later. And he used to work for him. Aban, I think the name. Thinking he could change the name, and he could change the mind of Justice Aban to declare results in his paper. Aban told him, no. These are the type of judges we need now. Not judges who will beg for positions. Not judges who will beg for positions. Judges who have gone through the hands of good lawyers at the law school. My own cousin Chatuchi Kata taught most of them, if not all of them. So when Aban said no, Addo ordered the military then, listen to me carefully, to get rid of Aban. The whole just has to jump at him. This is not a joke. Now the question you asked me, as a result of that, things started changing fast. And that was the end of Acham by the removal from power by his own colleagues. Now, if for one reason or the other, we have peaceful elections, when I say peaceful, no one will try to cheat anyone, then there will be peace in this country.
Okay.
Like anybody tries to cheat anyone, there will be bloodshed in this country. And those who think they are free will be shocked. But as what do you call it? It's always said, it's inevitable. It will come when it will. I'm not a small boy. I know what I'm talking about. Thank you very much.
Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. And if you watch the videos from the Kume Preko demonstration, one of the lead organizers alongside the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo, then a leader in opposition, of course, one of the key politicians of the ruling party, the NP. Dr. Asa Asante, shortly, what do you make of this? Your own short observation before we come back to the panelists today.
I think it's unfortunate what we have seen relative to the demonstration. Very, very unfortunate. Because one would have expected that if something like this will happen, even though we don't welcome it in any democracy, it shouldn't happen in the watch of Nana Akufo Addo, who has been a beneficiary of demonstration upon demonstration. It is a sad story and a sad day for people who believe in true democracy, that we are gradually, eroding, working to erode the gains we have made so far. That is not good enough at all. It is not for fun that the rights of people are, enshrined in our constitution, and they are given protection by the law codes. If somebody now, through a certain action, want to undermine us, then you are taking us back to the era that you and I fought very well to be where we are today. I want them, and I believe in the police must take a sober reflection on this, and then go and read Why Democracy Failed. That book is worth prescribing for them. And then they take the conversation from this. Institutions are not meant for fun. They are meant for, support the efforts of democracy. Without institution, democracy fails. And the police is an important, integral part of a democratic enterprise. So I expect them to live above reproach and do things relative to law. Why have they thrown away all the laws and they are doing their own thing? I'm sorry, we are not in a police state. We are in a democracy. And lovers of democracy will continue to speak the way we speak and resist any oppressive rule and make sure that democracy is maintained at all times.
Palgrave, the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo, the oppressor?
Roland, you know, I am very surprised this morning with the commentaries that are coming from very well-respected Ghanaians. Now, let me start from around the table before I get on to Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo and Professor Asante. You know, Amaliba calls the Ghana Police Service a bunch of bastards and rogues. That's an inappropriate comment to splash on the very integral police service within the country that have exercised their democratic rights, protected and prevented peace and war from happening, that have ensured that people have demonstrated in a lawful manner, peacefully, that have ensured that you and I, our peace and our properties that we have will not be violated. I am concerned that the NDC and Mr. Amaliba, a lawyer, would describe the Ghana police as bastards and rogues on the national television. I pray and wish that he would retract that, but that is extremely inappropriate comment to make.
No, he said he wants
Secondly,
he says he wants
secondly, I am also concerned that we just supposed to immediately bring in President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo for his ways of democracy and ways of understanding and ensuring that our democracy deepens and our democracy becomes strong and firm in light of this issue. The police has issued a statement, and the statement of the police does state that the demonstration was an unlawful demonstration.
Say so. Had it started?
The police said the demonstration was an unlawful demonstration. People have gathered. Roland, when people have gathered,
by what court?
When people have gathered, you and I know the court. When people have gathered with the purpose and intent to demonstrate and picket at the Jubilee House.
Are you interrogating him?
But when
who said that the demonstration was unlawful?
When you were speaking, did anybody interrupt you?
But he has a duty. I'm calling on him to interrogate him.
He had the special duty to interrogate you as well, and prevent you from making such statements of calling the police a bastard and a rogue in a civilized country like this.
This is not a civilized country. You don't know what civilized country
is. Well,
is.
this is a civilized country. Maybe it's not a civilized country from where he lives, but in this country, Ghanaians are civilized people. We do not want to acclaim ourselves to words that would cause mayhem in the future.
Would you say the way the police treated demonstrators was any sort of exhibition of civilization?
How did the police treat demonstrators?
Hey, you couldn't see. Play it again. Let him remove his glasses.
How did the police treat demonstrators? The police is preventing demonstrators from having an unlawful demonstration.
Was that prevention?
Did you see how people were rushing into the police station in an attempt as though that civilians are in combat with police? Let's be really very careful and mindful with how we turn out certain narratives.
They could have created a cordon
to
stop people from coming in. Did they do it?
Very much. Let's be extremely very mindful,
please,
with how we have these narratives and turn it out. Now you bring in Kumi Prekum. You bring in demonstrations that have been held in the past. Those demonstrators
are not related.
Had civilized demonstration.
Hey.
Very much so. those demonstrators had civilized demonstrations.
And this one was uncivilized.
And it's important.
This was uncivilized.
That's what he means.
Can I have the table?
Please.
Can I have the table?
That's what he means.
You can't insult Ghanaians like that.
Can I have the table?
You cannot
Yeah, you have
insult
the
Ghanaians
table.
like
Let's
that.
go ahead.
There is no insult in this regard to the Ghanaian
insulting.
people. There is no insult.
They
to,
are uncivilized.
There is no insult.
They are uncivilized.
There is no insult at
That's
all.
what you're telling us.
There is no insult at all in this regard.
Okay.
There is no insult at all.
So clarify yourself.
God, you have gone to have a demonstration that is unlawful.
That hadn't
Who
even
said that?
started.
Police
It
have
hadn't
stated
even
it. They have
started.
done it.
It hadn't
They have
started.
gathered.
It hadn't
They have
started.
gathered. Are they the
But
jury?
who said that
Please.
it
Are they
was
the jury?
unlawful?
They have gathered.
Who?
They have
Who
gathered.
said it's unlawful?
All right.
They have gathered.
Are you done? Let me.
No, but let me finish my point. You are
finish.
heckling me.
Me.
No, everyone on the table.
Yes, because what you're saying is wrong.
End. Have you ended?
Roland.
Yes, please.
Let's be very clear with ourselves in this country. We have independent institutions that are mandated by the Constitution to be able to exercise their democratic and constitutional mandate. One of that is the Ghana Police Service. A call of where the IGP is neither here nor there. The IGP
And
of
they
this country
exercise
has
it
not
by
changed.
force. They exercise it by force.
The IGP in this country has not changed.
Okay.
The IGP in service is still Dr. Akufo Addo.
Okay.
The police has issued a statement. And so let's be extremely mindful with how we churn out the narratives, because it influences the thoughts and the patterns of the Ghanaian people. And I will not sit here
The civilized Ghanaian people.
I will not sit here for anyone to bring in President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo for being an unlawful president, to bring in President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo Addo for seeing to it that people are causing mayhem. I think that it's important we have
was
these,
the reasons
we have
for
these
the
conversations
demonstration?
in perspective.
What was the reason for the demonstration?
Dr. Tamaklo has been involved in demonstrations all these years. He calls that he hopes and prays that there's no bloodshed. Now, the comments we make on national television is important for the posterity and peace of this country. And as a statesman, I think that it's important that when we have statesmen come on public TV and make comments, it's important that certain comments are restrained.
Restrained because of what?
Because in this country, there is not going to be any bloodshed.
What are you talking about?
In this country, there's not going to be any bloodshed.
What do you call the action of the police yesterday? I asked you. You said it's the demonstrators rather behaved uncivilized.
I think that when we call for good, we need to be able to look at the two sides of the coin.
All right.
Every sword has a two-edged sword.
Okay.
Do you understand? Every sword has a two-edged sword. So if you are calling a blame of the protesters and you are calling a blame of the police, then we need to set up a committee to be able to investigate that.
Did they
to
match?
see.
All right. So yesterday I did consultations widely as all these things were ongoing, and one of the key individuals was Samson Lade Nyenene. We all know him. He's our colleague. He's also a legal practitioner, and so he said he was going to put up a write-up. So he sent it to me as well, because the police did issue a statement that they had served the demonstrators. Now he says that you purport to exhibit to this publication what must be the notice served on you a month ago by the law-abiding citizens. What you should be exhibiting is proof of service, being affidavit or service, by an authorized process server of the court. Now, he says, and Samson again continues, Samson is a lawyer, says, granted there has been service, which the organizers deny. When an applicant says such an application, it is not for the applicant to tell the respondent what to do or not to do. All right. It is up to the organizers to decide what to do. If they decide, like the EC has, and is going on with the limited voter registration exercise, despite admitting it has been served a similar application, your job is done.
I was going there.
At the end of the day, you also don't repeat your shameful and lawless conduct during the Let My Vote Count demonstration, because there's no order of any court to enforce. And your applications are not lawful orders to be obeyed.
So that's why I said in my earlier submission that police do not enforce mere applications being filed. You enforce an order
from the court.
And was there an order from the court? No. But you see, I don't want to go into his tantrums. There are serious matters here. Somebody is missing. According to this reporter, one of the demonstrators is missing. So this guy, he's missing. The guy that you showed him, that he's missing. His phones are off. He's called, the name is there. He's called, I can't find the name exact. Albert. He's called Albert. So the police service produced Albert. I think he's the man who was in smoke. They were beating him up, and then producing.
The one that we saw
here.
Yes.
The protesters at 10 o'clock this morning.
After how his officers demonstrated.
But I called the police institution as a bastard and a rogue institution. So differentiate between individuals and the institution. That's 101 lesson for you. Now, the issue is this, that the police has always been under the control of the executive. And once the police is under the executive, anything untoward done by the police, the executive will be held responsible. You have gone to court. You have filed an application for injunction. The injunction has not been heard, and already you are taking the law into your own hands. A police administration. And why wouldn't I call them the names I'm calling them? I've received a message from a senior police officer who says that he is ashamed at what has happened. He's not happy as a police officer to be, to have a collateral damage coming out of this issue. Some policemen are not even happy with what has happened. And you, a government official, you are on this program calling Ghanaians names.
Uncivilized.
Ghanaians are not civilized.
I didn't call Ghanaians uncivilized.
Uncivilized.
I didn't call Ghanaians uncivilized.
Why should that be coming from a government official?
There are 32 million Ghanaians. Were they all part of the demonstration?
Ghanaians are Ghanaians.
Look at the number of people who are demonstrating.
Ghanaians.
I didn't call Ghanaians uncivilized.
The Akufo Addo administration has gotten to its wit's point. I think the administration has gotten to a point where they cannot renew themselves. And that is why they are now using the police to harass innocent Ghanaians. And I think that time has come for them to raise up their hands and live quietly for this country to move on.
Abi, let me tell you, the president has checked out.
The president has not checked out.
These
are the comments that are not. These are the comments that are not.
So I have this one.
The president checked out.
Gentlemen, so
how has the president checked out?
So
let's see whether we say anything about
no.
that.
Has the president checked out?
No, please listen.
So I have. He's in America.
I have.
He even have made a statement from there.
Look
the
at
now.
look at this.
I have this from a big entrepreneur, Sakura, who says the few people who protested yesterday were a representation of the 32 million Ghanaians. A lot of people should have been on the street too. Okay? The protesters were speaking for us. And I, for example, as a businessman, God bless and protect these demonstrators for representing us.
Let me add insult, sugar to injury. On another subject, please, because we don't have time. And this will affect people's work.
Really?
Yes. Influx of Chinese companies into transportation of petroleum products.
They're transporting.
Centio, the refinery. Who gave them the license to build? Who? And when they started building, did they have the wherewithal to build? It took MPA to go and stop them. And there is a plan in place. And what's the plan? They've got a refinery today. Tomorrow, what will they do? They will now have petrol stations. They want to transport refined petroleum products that are meant for Ghanaians.
Along the value chain.
Yes, along the value chain. They want to transport it. They have brought nearly 600 trucks in this country. Who are behind it? Is it right? People's livelihoods are going to go down the drain. And then 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you realize that our oil and all the petrol stations are now handled by Chinese. What kind of country do we live in? What kind of government do we have that they do not want to get Ghanaians to be part and parcel of the system? How many sectors in this country, the economic sectors in this country are handled by Ghanaians? You look through.
Ghana beyond aid.
Look through. It has to stop. Ghana has to do something about it. It is wrong.
A warning coming out. We'll take a look at it. You're heckling me.
I'm sorry.
You're heckling me,
sorry,
please. Okay, so let me go. Dr. Asante, your wrap-up comments on this. And then also on Nkrumah Day and your own observations as a political scientist. Please, let's hear Dr. Asante. Stop heckling me, please. Now, let's go ahead.
Yes, as I've said, we want to save this democracy, so the things that we do must conform to rule of law. Institutions are necessary to make sure that democracy survives. We will continue to support the cause of democracy in this country. So any aberration, we'll be quick to point it out. This one, police got it wrong. But let me move on to celebration. As we saw, Kwame Nkrumah, the great man of all times. I must say that for me, he's a leader that lived way beyond his contemporaries. Yes, people may have different views, but that's my view. Yesterday, we celebrated Nkrumah's birthday. A good thing. Nkrumah, mean a small boy in the Ghanaian politics, and there are a whole lot of literature about him. Time will not permit me to recount them, but we saw Nkrumah as a hour of everything, even I admit that he has his own problems, which I criticize him severely on that. But beyond that, Nkrumah did a lot. Yesterday, we say we are celebrating his birthday.
Let's continue from here.
Yeah, you wanted to say.
Roland, I find it very interesting, really, when
it means that
okay, please, it's
21st
nothing of interest.
September. But it's something I want to bring to the attention of everybody.
Okay.
79. If you read that, Nkrumah said that his mother told him that he was born after 45 Kundum festival.
Okay.
the network is bad. Let's just continue in studio.
Hello, Dr. Asante. Well, it's gone off.
Yeah.
It's gone off. All right, so that's where we end the show. Thank you.